How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Riddle Joker. Riddle Joke? I think it's Riddle Joker. I can't remember. Welcome back. So, well, it's been a bit. I had to take a week off because I had a flooding in my basement occur. And I've been dealing with that this entire week. So even during all these recordings I've done, except for my Persona one, because I was so exhausted, I just literally passed out and slept through the whole night last night. And I'm going to be doing more tonight. It's been a nightmare, and I wish it would be one I could wake up from, but no, that's going to be going into this weekend too. So this is my break to be able to record a little bit, and then I'm going to get right back to work again, especially because I'm going to probably have to move my computer and do setting up somewhere else. I'm also unfortunately worried that as I move furniture around, my audio quality might have dipped because you may not know, but audio quality is heavily affected by your surroundings. Now, thankfully, I've got a pretty decent microphone. Not super amazing, but an AT2020, which is nice because it doesn't collect a whole lot of sound from too far away. So, that's why the microphone's, in my screen, because, this makes sure that the audio is clear, and it helps cut out on reverb and everything. Now, it's not going to be perfect, though. So, if there's a difference in the audio, it actually really helped me if you notice it, as you're listening. I'll try and, listen for it when I do my editing, but sometimes I can get so caught up in all the other aspects of audio tuning that subtle changes can actually go past me. So if you know something compared to previous weeks, let me know. But I think I'll still be able to make the quality content as best I can, even if the audio is sounding a little more different from usual. So let's just jump back into it. So now we've transferred into the special research facility, university school thingy. Well, yeah, the school. And we've met the principal, who seems very stoic, and then now we've met her, she apparently is technically a student who's been held back several times, so she's older than most seniors would be. But apparently she's got some big brains, so she's in charge of a lot of clerical sides of the research for the school, and even including registrations and all that stuff. So whatever, she seems fun enough. I especially like how she takes it so personally when we're wait, so you're older than us? She's yes. But yeah, let's jump in and see where today takes us on our adventure of trying to get registered and probably just meeting a few more of the people that we're going to be interacting with as we come to the school to perform our investigation. So, joking aside, I think it's time we get to the purpose of our visit today. Yes. So what kind of data are you going to be taking from us exactly?
名前に生年月日、そしてアストラル能力、身長、体重、体力、視力、聴力、健康状態、その他もろもろ。
Alright, so height 6'0", pretty much straight on there. Weight? Level of fitness? No. Vision? Passable. I mean, I wear glasses when I have to be reading things far away, so when driving and stuff, but day to day I don't need it for just being around the house. Hearing, one of the things I'm actually pretty good at. Health conditions, asthma, among other things. Good enough.
と、項目は多いけど、基本的に学院で行った体力測定や健康診断の内容も一緒に登録してるだけだよ。
I was about to say, other schools probably don't check about Astron powers, but again, in this day and age, they probably do. There's probably more do you have Astron powers? Because they probably want to make note of it.
今日登録するのは、名前と生年月日とアストラル能力。あと、身長と体重ぐらいかな。他の部分は後日、学院で行われた時にこっちで追加登録しておくから。
Gotcha.
名前は有原明くんだ。
It's read Satoru, actually, written as the character for Dawn.
おっと、間違えちゃってごめんね。
That's gotta be so confusing. It's so this is this word? Oh no, it's actually this word. Very subtle difference. It's fine. You aren't the first one to make that mistake.
サトルね。有原悟くん。暁と書いてサトル。サトル？
Yes.
もしかしてなんだけど、以前に私と会ったことない？
I doubt it. You and me? I carefully scan over her facial features. She's really gorgeous, honestly, in particular those long eyelashes of hers. I know I felt a bit of deja vu earlier, but surely I wouldn't forget someone as beautiful as her if I'd met her before, right? I don't have any recollection of meeting you before, at least.
ちなみに先輩のお名前は？ああ、そっか。なんか忘れてると思ったら、私の自己紹介か。ごめん、失礼しました。
She's that odd combination of apparent genius, but also airhead.
私の名前は敷部真由。
Shikibi Mayo.
どう？この名前に覚えがない？
Shikibi Mayu senpai. Sorry, but I don't think so.
本当に？何も引っかからない？
Well, I mean, what about you? Is anything coming to mind for you? Nope, sorry.
そう。そっか。なら勘違いかな。
なあ、
突然ごめんね。気になることがあると口にせずにはいられないのが私の悪い癖で。
I mean, there's worse crimes.
自覚はしてるんだけど、性分なのか自分でもやめられなくってね。
That's fine. It doesn't bother me.
昔の知り合いに似てる気がして、つい。話を戻そっか。
Maybe we knew her. Maybe I knew her when I was like younger. Like she's the childhood friend, maybe.
有原悟くんと。生年月日や血液型はこの書類に書かれてあるので間違いないね。
Ah, yes, the ever elusive and ever needed to know apparently blood type. For any of my Japanese viewers or anyone who happens to care, I am an A negative. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea how it's supposed to be interpreted. I'm probably sure it's going to be wrong, but you know what? It's one of those things where you do it anyways. Kind of like astrological signs. You know what? Like I'm a Libra. Like that was something that was definitely talked about all growing up. Absolutely don't believe in it at all, but still something I know. So I'd actually be curious to know, like, what does a negative blood type tell you about me if you ever followed that? Because I've read things and they always seem to contradict each other. So I don't know. Again, one of those things that's kind of meh, whatever. But A negative here. Looks correct to me.
多分年齢も同じだし、顔立ちもどことなく。でも妹はいなかったっけ？
Okay, yeah. We really probably knew her when we were kids. Shikibi-sensei clacks away at her keyboard as she mutters to herself. Shikibi Mayu. Yeah, no matter how hard I think about it, nothing comes to mind. Must be just a simple case of the wrong person. Wait, so we were adopted, right? We haven't learned much about, like, that whole process. We also have already had a confirmation earlier in the story that there are Astron abilities that have been known to be able to manipulate memories and do like hypnosis. Could we have been like a kidnapped person because of our powers and then hypnotized with a different backstory? I mean, that would make sense for why we wouldn't recognize her, but she's like, oh, very clearly like recognized us.
それで妹の有原七海さんで合ってるよね。はい。じゃあ同じ女の子の可愛い後輩だし、ななみちゃんって呼ばせてもらっちゃおうかな。
Oh, careful.
また
She's like, everyone's asking me these awkward questions.
ダメなの？いえ、ダメではないですけど。ありがとう、ななみちゃん。ななみちゃんは可愛いな。
She is.
さてさて、能力は有原くんが身体能力の強化。
Physical enhancement. Yes. Another lie. Boosting my strength is only a byproduct of my power. My true ability is something else. Ooh, interesting. We're on an undercover mission here, so we have to be prepared for anything. Our plan was to hide my real ability without fully lying about it, since I need to be able to prove that my ability is what it says it is. My dad and I came up with it after a bit of discussion.
それからななみちゃんが治癒と。
Ooh, that's cool. Nanami's, though, isn't a lie. We had no easy option to hide it like with mine, so we chose to be honest instead of taking the risk.
じゃあ、まずは能力の確認をさせてもらうね。二人とも、これを持って。
What? She holds out a long rectangular strip of paper that are much like sticky notes. What's this?
アストラル能力の性質を調べるためのもの。
Uh-oh!
知っての通り、アストラル粒子の変化は使用者によって固定されるけど、その変化はある程度分類することができるわけ。 分類の仕方はアストラルエネルギーの及ぼす範囲をはじめとした様々な反応を調べることによって。
Interesting.
ごめん。どうもこういう解説をするとき無駄に説明を長くしちゃってね。
Alright, you know what? Mayu and I are seeming like very similar people, right? Like, I'm talking like really. Like, what do I do on this channel? I sit and rant about sciencey stuff that gets me excited so long it just becomes ridiculous. I mean, if you want examples, look at Steins Gate videos. Literally the episode, like, I think it's episode 2, when Kurisu's doing her discourse about, like, time travel, like, the ways that time travel might actually be possible by real, logical physics as we understand it. I go on entire tirades where I effectively re-explain everything she's explaining succinctly, but explain some of the finer points of it. It's like the whole episode, and I love it. I can't help myself. So yeah, Mayu and I have a lot of similarities. Maybe too similar, honestly, but she is pretty fun. She, like I said, like, our personalities vibe. I could see me and her being like, well, she would be like a head of a research group here, but I'd totally be like in part of that research group. I'd like to be in the background pretending like I know what I'm doing.
逆に分かりづらいってよく言われる。俺も直さなきゃって自覚はしてるんだよ。でもなかなか。
Yeah, it's a little bit of a catch-22.
端的に説明すると、リトマス試験紙のようなものだと思ってくれればいいよ。
Problematic, though.
その紙を持って能力を発動させてみてくれる？そしたら色が変わる。
Okay, maybe it won't be too bad because it should activate in a color that's like corresponds to like maybe a physical ability versus a mental ability, that kind of thing.
こんな感じの簡単な検査を複数重ねて、君たちの能力を特定していくからね。
Interesting. Wait, she's not onto us, is she?
勘違いしないでね。別に二人のことを疑っているわけじゃないよ。
God, but the fact that she's like saying that, it's like, but are you?
たとえ自分の能力でも勘違いしてることはよくあるわけさ。そうだね。例えば飛行能力とか。
Okay, I think I know where this is going to go. Great example of like how this approach is kind of probably going to go down. If you've ever read the book, I highly recommend reading the book, The Reckoners. It's kind of it's a YA, like young adult book, but it's really fantastic and it really breaks down the idea of analyzing like heroes. Like the summary of The Reckoners is like, what if superheroes became a real thing on our Earth, right? What if superheroes became a thing, but every one of them was evil? Like, there were no actual heroes. They just gained powers and all turned to psychopaths and just destroyed the world effectively. Like, all governments collapsed. They just kind of took over, became these, like, little dictators and, like, had other people with powers as their minions, and the strongest ones are the ones that rule. And so the Reckoners is a form of like a resistance group of normal humans who are running like a rebellion, trying to take down these they call them epics in the story. So they're taking down these superpowered people who are just insane and crazy and evil, and to stop them from the tyrannical things that they do, bringing a reckoning to those who are immune to like judgment. Fantastic series, and they do this kind of thing where they analyze and break down powers, and the examples being like flying. How do you fly? Does the person with powers actually like levitate? Like, do they somehow repulse themselves off the ground and hover around? Do they fire like jet engine propulsions from their hands and feet? Like, those are two different approaches to flying and have different methods and limitations and weaknesses. And so, like, you can't just say, oh, they fly and make that a category. You have to say, well, what kind of flight is there? And you break it into these subcategories where flying might be, like, the flying with the jet engine, like, jet propulsion, like, fields coming out of your hands and feet is a lot more about energy manipulation. So it'd be closer to an energy manipulation, have more similar like characteristics to somebody who can manipulate magnetic fields than to the hover person who maybe hovers through a form of telekinesis, mental psychic like ability. So the flying isn't really what you want to divide the categories by. You want to divide it by the means and similar activation methods and the types of manipulation you're looking at. Hope that makes sense.
本当に飛行する場合の他にも、念動力で自分を浮かせているのか、風を操作して浮いているのか。
Yep.
それぞれ分類は変わるし、それ次第で飛ぶこと以外の力の使い方を探すこともできる。 だから能力を正しく理解することは重要ってわけ。
That is a problem though. That makes sense.
一発で解析できると楽なんだけど、まだその技術はなくて面倒だとは思うけど、よろしくね。
Paper, you said. By the time we finally finished with the test, we'd taken around 10. Time-wise, I'd estimated it took us about 2 hours. Ugh.
検査はこれにて終了。
Do we get the results?
さてさて、2人の検査結果だけど、まずは有原悟くん。
Okay.
君は自分にだけ影響を及ぼして力を発現するタイプ。
No sharing.
申告の通り、身体能力の強化で間違いないと思う。
Alright. Whew. She doesn't seem suspicious at all, which is really good.
ななみちゃんの治癒は、対象相手の治癒力を高めるタイプだね。
Okay, so it's healing, but it's natural. So, like, her healing would leave scars and scar tissue. So somebody who had a massive injury on their leg, who got healed by her, would most likely still have to go through physical therapy to work through the scar tissue, which is something I did from my really nasty bike accident in high school.
怪我をなかったことにするわけじゃないけど、やっぱりすごい能力だね。私とは大違い。
質問いいですか？
なんでしょう。
先輩もアストラル使いなんですか？
And she talks like one.
言ってなかったっけ？そうだよ。あんまり役に立たない能力だけど。ほら。
Yeah, yeah. She raises her hand in the air with a coffee cup in it, then lets go. Ah! But instead of falling to the table, the cup remains where it is. It doesn't seem to be floating, but rather locked in place. Oh, so she does like kind of like a temporal lock almost. Well, that wouldn't be true though, because if it was true temporal lock, it would seem to just vanish and rip through the window because the Earth's rotation and like traveling through space would be doing that. But if she can lock it in a frame reference, then it would just sit there suspended. So your ability is locking objects in place, by chance?
微妙に違うかな。これは物体ではなくアストラルを停止。その場に固定させてるって考えてくれればいいよ。
How does that work?
ざっくり言うなら、空気中に見えない壁を生み出すようなものだね。
Okay, so she makes invisible walls out of Astron particles.
今は固定したアストラルを土台にして、そこにコップを乗せてるってわけさ。
Pretty useful.
面白い能力ですね。
It has a lot of applicational uses, but you'd have to be creative about them. It obviously isn't like, oh, I can just use it in any situation, but it's very useful, especially if you can, I don't know, I wonder if she's ever like set up like a structure and then condensed it or expanded it. Because if you took a small structure and expanded it, you could create a near perfect vacuum. Like if you had the barriers be perfectly close together and then open it up if it's airtight. And then again, you could also take a large area and condense it. If you did it quickly, it could be explosive. And what if you trapped in like a person inside there? Like it could be a perfect impenetrable prison. Something that maybe you can make bulletproof barriers that are invisible. And if you could move them around, there's a lot of pretty impressive applications for it. But maybe nothing that's day to day or obvious.
意外と汎用性もなくて、大して役に立たないけどね。
It just means you're not being creative. She presumably deactivates her ability, then takes the cup into her hand again. Moving her arm slowly, she then places it back on the table.
これで登録は完了。二人とも、お疲れ様。
Thank you for taking the time to do this for us, Shikibi-sensei. You probably have other things you'd rather be doing on a weekend.
いや、気にしないでいいよ。どうせ暇してたから。
I wish I had that problem. I have too much stuff I try to do.
2回もダブると、周りもどう接していいのかわからないみたいでね。まあ、当然だよね。
So if they're at a high school and the top age is like 17, 18, and that means she's like 19, so 17, 18, it'd be like 19, 20. Yeah, I could see a 19, 20-year-old feeling like they're not quite fitting in anymore in high school. Please don't stare off in the distance to say all those depressing things. You're really making me feel bad. Look, I'd be glad to hang out with you whenever you want.
私もお付き合いしますので。
こんなおばさんでもいいの？
An old lady? You're still like 20? Why does that sound like some porno title? Who are you calling an old lady? You're still really young, senpai. You're only, what, 3 or 4 years older than us? That's nothing to worry about.
なめんな女子の年齢差な
Well, okay. I don't think it actually matters all that much, though. Why is she yelling at me? I was legitimately trying to cheer her up. She's difficult to please, this girl.
一つ違えばその数倍の差が出る。それが女子。私なんて体育の前に日焼け止めを塗らないと
That's
命に関わるんだから。
it's hilarious as a scientist. Like, it has nothing to do with your age. It's all about, like, you just burn easily. I guess she's worried about wrinkles, but come on, you still have at least a decade or 2 before you have to worry about that. What?
あと、お化粧を落とし忘れても死ぬ。
Man, she makes a girl sound more fragile than a fly. Well, age aside, I'm new here and I don't know anyone, so I'd appreciate a friend.
私も同じ気持ちです。
二人ともありがとう。今後ともよろしくね。
She's definitely quirky, but I'm a little, honestly, I'm a little about that whole attitude. I get everyone's got their insecurities, and sure, but hers are really not, like, it's not something she should be worried about.
はい。よろしくお願いします。
If you ever need us for anything, don't hesitate to ask us. We'd be glad to help.
ありがとう、有原くん。じゃあ、早速だけど、ちょっといい？
Sure. Okay. Sure.
有原くんの能力について、もう少し確認しておきたいんだけど、付き合ってもらえないかな？
I'm a little worried. First of all, because we don't want to be discovered. But second of all, I mean, we have a physical ability about physical enhancements. And now she's sounding a little too... thirsty. Ooh. Calm down. She closes in on me with sparkling eyes. Eventually, she's right up on me, and I begin to smell that sweet fragrance. Man, this really does smell good. No, I don't mind.
やった！ありがとう！
What exactly are you wanting to learn about my ability, though?
正式な実験とかじゃないから気を楽にして。
Why do I get the impression that that's absolutely what you're trying to do?
何か重いものを持ってほしいんだけど、いいものはあるかな？
She wants us to pick up heavy objects. Yeah, I'm getting a little more concerned here. She looks around the room in search of whatever the thing is. It's a science lab, though, so it probably goes without saying that there isn't anything dumbbells or weightlifting equipment.
できれば重量を把握できる方がありがたいから。そうだ。有原くんが私を持ち上げるのはどうだろう。あ、できれば片腕で。
You know, my first thought was the desk, but you know, I'm surprised I didn't think about that. She knows her own weight. You want me to lift you with one arm. I know weight's another delicate subject for women, but, well, she seems healthy. I doubt she weighs any less than 40 kilograms. Taking into her account her height, maybe 50 kilograms? Actually, no, probably higher. And weight's really interesting too, because like I have a really deceptive weight. Like if you've been following my channel, you know I've lost a lot of weight. I used to be very obese, and now I'm really in the range of health, but I still am heavier than you probably would guess. I go ahead and like, it'd be interesting to hear you type in the comments before I reveal my weight, because I don't mind sharing it. Like, how heavy do you think I am based on what you see here? You know, like, yeah, you don't get the whole picture, obviously. You can see, you know, what you see, but, you know, based on what you see of me in my frame, like, what would you guess? Pounds or kilograms? I don't know off the top of my head how much I weigh in kilograms, but I do in pounds, so you can do a Google like conversion really easily. But so hopefully you've taken the time to put down a guess, and then I'm curious to see what your guesses would be. But I topped on the scale earlier, and I'm just around 205 pounds. For a lot of people, that seems really overweight. And in fact, if you go by a basic BMI chart, like I am overweight for my height, which is 6 feet. But if you look at me, I really don't look overweight at all. In fact, I can look pretty small in frame, but I've got a really broad chest, like, and shoulder ratio, especially to my hips. And I've also got extra skin because of all the excess weight loss I've had. But that doesn't add more than maybe 7 to 10 pounds of just excess skin. So my real weight is somewhere around 190 still, which is like, you know, still on the heavier side for someone of my height, but I've been told by my doctors that that's where the BMI kind of breaks down. I have much more broad chest and like broader shoulders and like longer, like kind of like sturdier legs. And a lot of that, it translates into weight. Your skeletal structure is a majority of your weight. So if you have more bone mass, like people say big boned, you know, it's kind of like an excuse that people who are heavy would throw around, but it's based on a real factor, which is something I have, which is where I have more bone like mass inside of me than is usual, especially like my chest cavity. It's like I have my chest and then it kind of my chest and then goes to my stomach and it swoops inward. Like most people can, like if they're slim, like their chest goes straight down to their belly. Mine doesn't at all. My chest goes like this and then it curves into my belly. I don't have abs or anything. Like I'm pretty weak, but like it goes chest and then curves in like a few inches because my upper torso is just larger. So like a lot of my doctors have said that actually the 190 range is pretty much exactly where I want to be. And in fact, being lower than that would be considered underweight for me because my skeletal structure. So you've got to be careful about weighting and judging weightiness because, like, again, I really am I'm on the slim side. Like, I've lost a lot of weight. I'm grateful to be here. I need to be on guard to keep myself from getting bigger, but like, I'm grateful I've gotten to this point. I've got doctors who are saying like, yeah, don't try and lose more weight at this point. Like, you should be maintaining your weight. They were getting worried because I kept losing weight. And then I finally kind of hit this plateau and they're like, you know what, that's really where you want to be anyway. If you're cutting much more weight at this point, like you need to be replacing it with muscle, which would, if anything, make you heavier rather than lighter because muscle mass is actually like more dense than typical fat is. So like I said, like ideally I put on more muscle, get more like jacked, and I should be around like 210, 220, but with muscle mass. Like if I'm not muscle massing and muscle building, then where I am right now is pretty good. I just need to maintain it. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts were about that, but it's something you've got to be careful of with weight. You can't be obsessed with BMI charts because they can be deceptive based on your own physical building. But again, you need to base that off of like doctors' opinions. And I've gotten multiple doctors' opinions on this subject. And like they've all agreed that my BMI, my actual BMI is more appropriate to being in the proper weight range, especially when you take into account the excess skin, which is something I can't do unless I get medical like removal. And I'm just not in a position for that, like to do that. And I'm not super interested. I'm kind of interested, but I don't have like $6,000 to throw at that. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Let's go back to this story because enough about me. All right, I probably should factor her breast size. I've heard that breasts carry a lot of mass. Hey, shh. Don't you be reading my thoughts. Yes.
視線がいやらしい。
No, I don't.
サトルくんが何を考えるかぐらいわかる。妹なんだから。
Hey, I was just pondering something relevant to the discussion at hand, okay? Nothing inappropriate. Anyway, back to what I was thinking about. I'm fit, but I'm no macho man. My arms are pretty skinny. So if I somehow manage to lift her with a single arm, that should give her a good grasp of what my ability is capable of. Okay, let's do this. I think I should be able to lift someone of your body type up.
なら一丁お願い。
I'm ready, but a little warning before we start. You'll have to keep a steady balance as I hold you up. Do you think you can manage that?
そっか。片手でってなるとそうなるか。私運動は得意じゃないからな。
Sameys.
ならば私が有原くんの腕にぶら下がろう。
So what, I climb up on the stool and then, like, lift you up there like that? That sounds very dangerous. By the way, oh yeah, I mentioned excess skin. If you want to see, like, a great time is that is right here. Like it's like people sometimes call it bingo wings, but like, no, this is just extra skin, which I guess bingo wings technically are usually extra skin from being old, but this is from weight loss. Like, you can just grab it there. It's weird. Like, look at that. That's crazy. It's so just like, and it's just the way it is. Like, it's like, you can see here, like, that's like, if I pull that tight like that, like, that's like, God, can you see that? Yeah, that's what my arm actually looks like. Like, see how like it looks so narrow, but then you drop it and it's like, oh, that looks really weird. But then I can flex my muscle and you can see like, I've got some definition. I've been trying to work out. Like, it's nothing to brag about, but like, you know, there's muscle there and it's very well defined because there's no fat here anymore. then you get the flab of extra skin that's just kind of hanging out here. Just weight loss is weird. I'm happy about it though. I'm very happy that I finally was able to do it with a lot of great support and getting the help I needed, but like at the same time, it's weird. What about doing that, but with me standing atop a chair? That sounds easier for you.
お願いできる？
Sure. I scooted together as 2 folding chairs and hop up. Seems stable enough. Good. Yeah, not the rolling chair. I'm ready for you, senpai.
それじゃ、いくよ。
Ugh. Yeah, this amount of weight is no sweat. I proceed to lift Shikibi sensei's body like it's the easiest thing in the world.
なかなかすごい安定感。人の腕じゃなくて、まるで木の枝にぶら下がってるみたいだよ。
Yeah, not bad.
こんなの初めて。へえ、男の子の腕、硬い。
Well, it's not like this is normal.
なんかあれだね。ブランコとか子供の遊具みたいで、ちょっと楽しいかも。
I like how I've been elevated from test subject to playground equipment.
おっと、年がいもなくはしゃいじゃってるけど平気？やっぱり重いかな？
Not at all. Oh no, you're incredibly light.
言うね。でも確かに余裕がありそうだ。なるほど。
Continue the test with Shikibi or ask Nanami if she wants to try. Alright, so obviously this isn't the being all end all. Like normally games give you a little leeway about like dating paths, but I have to say like right now, like who would I be more interested in? Mayu or Nanami? Nanami is adorable, but she's like the adoptive sister but still a sister. I know that's probably a route in this game, but it'd just be weird. Nanami's more like, she's a sister and more like a best friend, like super best friend. Like a lot of people try and say like, oh, but it's like you're living together, not blood related, it's perfectly fine. Like for me, like it would be crossing a pretty severe line. I just can't imagine it being okay in my head, even if it's like biologically okay. It's just, she's categorized as a sister. I'm not sure if I'd ever be able to change that. She's got a fantastic personality and she's adorable. So like I'm sure she'd be a really fun to like it'd be fun to go down that romantic path, but like right now I'm gonna end up going down a path I choose. It's gonna be the first one based on first impressions. And I'm not sure if I'm completely sold on Shikibi, but between the two of them, I think I would pick the Shikibi route. So let's go here.
体を揺らしてみても安定してるね。私の
Uh-oh. Are we about to have a shenanigans moment?
40キロ程度の体重なら楽々って感じだ。
She was about to say 50 before she corrected herself, wasn't she? I guess she really... Okay, stop. I don't need to think about this any further.
40キロ程度だからね。
I never said you weren't.
とにかくもう十分だよ。ありがとう。ちょっとはしゃぎすぎて汗かいちゃったよ。これが身体強化系か。触った感じだと腕の太さは変わらなかったから筋肉はそのままって感じだね。
No.
あ、物を持ち上げるってなると背筋や大胸筋も関係あるか。
She's not about to ask me to take off my shirt, is she? Okay, that's how you do that.
最後に有原くんの腕回りと胸囲を測らせてもらってもいい？
Sure. She's literally sure.
上の服を脱いでくれる？
Oh gosh.
メジャーメジャーはどこかいな。
Stripping in front of someone I just met hours ago is a little... Yeah. Well, whatever. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Just as I finish removing my shirt, she goes back with a tape measure in hand.
おお、なかなかいい体してるね。どれどれ？
I don't like that look on your face. She's way too close for comfort. It's a way sweet fragrance again. I can see her cleavage. Dang, she's big. Okay, I shouldn't be staring. This is incredibly rude.
お、脅威も結構あるね。
This is something personal now. Again, this is actually what's happened when we've done measurements of my chest. It's like, okay, a good example of this is it's really hard to find me a shirt that I fit in. I can fit perfectly into a large if I don't mind not being able to breathe very much. Like, my chest gets super constricted, like it's just, it clings to me. But then, like, below my rib cage, it fits perfectly. But then I get an extra large, and that feels like I can actually move around in, like an actual shirt's supposed to be feeling like. But then the neck is open like this, and it kind of like drapes down and kind of makes a little like floofy around. So it's like, there's a catch-22 there. They don't make triangle-shaped shirts for people like me.
身長と体重から考えると、一般的な平均は超えてると思うよ。
Preach. It's this. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking about her tits. I mean, I don't know why. I'm no bodybuilder or anything.
何もせずにこの体なの?
Yes, but it's probably about bone structure. Well, I do exercise some, but it's just regular physical activity. I don't go to the gym or anything.
なるほど。ちなみに有原くんの場合、筋肉をつけた方が発揮できる力が上がったりする?
That's actually a decent question. Would it multiply would my strength be multiplied based on my muscle mass, or is my muscle mass irrelevant to my body enhancement? I've never actually looked into it. I do believe more natural muscle is better, but that's just my personal perception of it.
なるほど。差が大きすぎると感覚が違ってうまく扱えないのかな?
Maybe.
念のため、胸囲と腕周りの数値も登録しておかないとね。
See, arm circumference would be tough to measure on me because of the extra skin.
あと、乳首の色は薄茶色と。
Oh gosh! That shouldn't be in there!
甘い。
Okay.
一見無関係なことでも、実は因果関係があり、後々実証される。なんてのは業界ではよくあることさ。
Far more likely is that there's correlation without causation, which is the other problem, which is where it looks like there's a pattern, but there is none. That really doesn't sound like a good reason to put the color of my nipples into the database.
でも本当、結構いい体してるよね。ツンツン。
You can stop that now.
痛い?
No, it's like harassment though. That's not the issue.
あ、もしかして、気持ちよくなっちゃったりする?
Even if you were, that doesn't make that okay. You're poking me. That's not gonna turn me on. Just want you to stop because it's embarrassing.
そう? そっか。この程度じゃ気持ちよくならないのか。
What are you doing?
ツンツン。
What are you doing? I'm telling you stop.
別にふざけているわけじゃなくて、重要な話なんだよ、これは。
Sure seems like it.
大胸筋でダメなら、一体どこなら感じるのか。
You better
やっ
not.
ぱり乳首?
No. What are you asking me?
男性の性感帯についての話。
Oh, I can see now. You're talking about different research. Stop poking me. How can you just admit something like that is the most normal thing in the world?
気になることがあると口にせずにはいられないのが私の悪い癖。
It's not your only bad habit. It is a bad habit, one that you should probably fix.
口ではそんなこと言いながらも立ってきてるね。
You better... My nipples, because you keep touching them.
体は正直だね。
It's also just a it's natural reaction. She sounds like a horny old drunk man. Jeez, please, just stop this already. But just back away. Turn your shirt on.
そんな値を上げるほど感じちゃってるの?
Alright, I'm not liking you as much. I mean, I know this is supposed to be like teasing, but come on. Okay, I'll admit it does feel good.
ツンするだけでも感じるのなら、つまんだりつねったりしても感じるのかな?
Alright, now you're
実
just...
に興味深い。
Now I'm guessing you're just projecting. Seriously, Senpai, stop. I'm feeling things. My sister's giving me the death stare right now. Please put yourself in my position. How would you feel if your sibling was being forced to watch something strange or being playing with your nipples?
しまった、そういえば。
It's not what you think, Nanabe. I promise. Just calm down. We can discuss it rationally.
そうそう。これは私が悪乗りしちゃっただけ。有原くんが悪いわけではないから。
At least you admit it. And I just resigned myself to my fate.
そんな冷たい目を。
Maybe this is what Dad felt like when he experienced Naname's trial of rebellious behavior. Her stone-cold gaze coupled with a derisive snicker stung worse than I anticipated. Well, that was Stupid. We both stayed with Shikibi Sensei a while longer until she'd done enough experimenting on us to be satisfied. Ugh. With the registration process all taken care of, we're now making our way to the dorm buildings. There's a whopping 4 of them on campus here. Guess you need that many when every single student has to be accommodated. Luckily, though, Nanami and I managed to be assigned to the same dorm. This makes our lives much easier, since we can meet up pretty much whenever to discuss mission-related things.
なんだかやっと落ち着いたって感じだね。
Please. Well, we still have our unpacking to do. But before that, we need to find out where our rooms are. You think the dorm manager will be inside when we walk in?
寮は全部で4棟あるから、それぞれに管理人がいるわけじゃないと思うけど。
I don't know, this place is pretty strict. They might. Good point. We might be stopped by someone walking by and ask. Excuse me.
私のことだろうか。
Do you care if I ask you a quick question?
なんだ？私でわかることならいいんだが。
We just transferred here today. We were wondering if we could find the dorm manager inside the building.
ああ、それなら私だ。
Oh, well, that was easy. You?
寮の管理を行っているのは私だ。
Are you not a student then?
いや、私も君たちと同じ学生だ。言葉不足ですまない。私は二条院葉月という。
Nijoin Hazuki. By the by, it sounds like she's speaking really formally. Her outward appearance would lead you to believe she's very calm and feminine, but she speaks with a firm voice. Her dignified speech pattern strikes me as rather fitting for her, though. It perfectly accentuates her confident demeanor.
全体を統括しているのは教員だが、各寮を管理しているのは寮長である学生なんだ。
Interesting.
もちろん君たち2人のことは聞いている。私の管理する第3寮に入寮することになっている。
Oh, perfect. That solves our problem. I'm Arihara Satoru, by the way.
私は妹の有原七海です。よろしくお願いします。
わかった。こちらこそよろしく頼む。七海くん。
Again? Is that just customary for everyone, all the girls to address each other by first name?
どうした？体調でも悪いか？顔が赤いぞ。
Don't worry, she's just embarrassed because you used her first name.
ああ、すまない。いきなりすぎたな。少々礼儀を欠いていた。
はい、いえ、そんな風に思ったわけではないです。平気です。
I gotta say, I like her hair. Her hair's really pretty. This is the third time today, Nanami. Shouldn't you be getting used to this by now?
今日一日で慣れるなんて無理だよ。
My poor sister wails in utter embarrassment. But this is good for her, in all honesty. She's terribly shy, so without people proactively talking to her, she'll have a lot of trouble making friends. This may be work, but still, we're going to be living here for the next couple months. Nothing wrong with trying to settle in and make friends.
改めてよろしく頼む。七海くん。
Oh.
はい。こちらこそ改めてよろしくお願いします。二条院先輩。
有原くんも無理にかしこまらなくていい。その方が私としても気を使わなくて助かる。
Sounds good. Will do.
ああ。では早速中を案内しよう。
Alright, let's go. Ooh.
ここがロビー。談話室も兼ねている。向こうに浴場。こっちには食堂がある。ランドリールームは3階と6階だ。3階は男子用。6階は女子用だから気をつけてくれ。
Gotcha. Don't go above the third floor.
そもそもこの寮は3階までが男子。4階以上が女子のフロアだ。
It would make more sense, I think, to have the girls and guys in different buildings, but, you know, to each their own. And frankly, I think this is how they also did dorms at my university, so gotcha.
それで、これからについてだが、夕食は19時から20時の間。外に出てもいいが、門限は19時半だ。夕食を受け取るとき、点呼も取る。それ以降は、寮の外に出るのは禁止だ。
Interesting. Even for curfews, that's pretty early.
21時半までに入浴を済ませて、23時に消灯。起床の時間は自由だが、7時50分までには起きて、食堂に行って、朝の点呼と朝食。それが済んだら学院に向かう。以上だ。
Pretty straightforward. Means I'm setting my alarms, but...
一気に説明してしまったが、 大丈夫だろうか?
No, I think so. We got, you can roam around as much as you want, but check in for dinner by 7:30. Once you've got your dinner, you can't leave the building again. You're expected to stay inside. Lights out at 11. Be done with the bath by 9:30. And then you can wake up whenever you want, but you need to get your breakfast by 7:50, because I'm guessing 8 o'clock they shut down the kitchens, and then after that you're expected to go to class. So it's like you have freedom and not freedom at the same time. Nope, think I got everything. I'll see if I have any questions though.
あ、いつでも聞いてくれ。そうそう。あと、21時半以降に男子が女子のフロアに入ることは禁止だ。
Alright.
気をつけてくれ。
9:30 is not only bath restriction, but also dorm restriction.
女子が男子のフロアに入るのはいいんですか？
一応問題はないことになってはいるが、あまり好ましくはない。
Ah, the tradition of boys aren't trustworthy, girls are, but still frowned upon.
妙な誤解を生まないよう、ロビーで話す方がいいだろう。
はい、わかりました。
That puts a kink in our ability to meet up, but we should be able to work around it.
それで、2人の部屋なんだが、有原くん、君は318号室。七海くん、君は418号室。これが鍵だ。
Now, it depends on the building construction, but that would imply that she's literally in the room above me, which could be useful for us trying to communicate potentially after hours. And if there are any, like, shenanigans going on in our room, we might have to try to explain them. She presents 2 small keychain-looking objects to us. They're a type of keycard.
これは部屋の他にも、教室の鍵も開けられる。もし最初に投稿することがあったら、この鍵をかざすといい。落とさないように。だが、部屋の中に置き忘れもしないように。部屋に入れなくなってしまうからな。
I imagine that might be horrifically, like, complicate things and probably incur a fine of some kind. Okay.
さて、では部屋へ案内したいが、男子フロアのことは男子に任せた方がいいか。わからないことを聞く相手が私だけでは不便だろうし。
Are you sure? You just said that we technically could. Yeah, that'd be nice.
318号室の近くの男子は確か。ああ、いいところに。そう、ちょっといいか?
So, man, every time I see, like, so he was the friend in Ace Academy. Like, Nijoan-san raises her hand and calls out to a person walking down the stairs. They're short, slender, and have a baby face. A girl? But that wouldn't make sense. She said she needed a guy. Oh dear, here we go.
なんだい、二条院さん。
Girl question mark?
スオは確か317号室だったな。
It's really funny. It's really weird, but 317 is one of my lucky numbers.
そうだけど、それが転入生だ。今日から318号室で暮らして、私たちと同じクラスになると聞いている。
Interesting.
寮や学院での細かい面倒は、同じ男であるスオに頼みたい。もちろん、私も力にはなるが。なんだ、そんなことか。全然構わないよ。ありがとう、スオ。
So I was about to become our best friend.
お礼を言われることじゃないよ。二条院さんは相変わらず律儀だな。はじめまして。僕はスオ恭平。今日からお隣さんだね。よろしく。
よろしく。
同い年だし遠慮はいらないよね。君も遠慮しなくていいから。僕のことは気軽に恭平って呼んでよ。
I wonder if, like, using, like, the less formal first name basis here might make up for, like, the familiarity you leave behind because you aren't living with your family anymore. Sure, I'm Arihara Satoru. Address me with whatever you want. I don't mind.
じゃあ、サトルって呼ばせてもらうね。
I take his hand and we engage in a handshake. Oh my gosh, it's so soft! Are we sure this guy's not a girl? I mean, I'm mere inches away from him and he still looks like 100% girl. Plus his skin's so silky smooth, it's unreal. Maybe he's on some kind of undercover mission like I am. And that's why he's masquerading as a boy when in reality he's a girl.
どうかした?
Yeah, sorry. Just looking forward to being dorm buddies, Kyohei. He nods with a smile. Yeah, thinking again about the undercover thing, I doubt it. Considering the gender ambiguity of his appearance, he's bound to draw attention from those around him. The opposite of what an undercover agent wants.
ところで、そっちの女の子も転入生?
妹の有原七海です。
僕は周防恭平。よろしく。
よろしくお願いします。
あとは任せるぞ。はいはい。では私たちは418号室に行こう。
はい。サトルくん、また後でね。
さてと、案内ってどこからすればいいのかな？
I just kind of need to go to my room. Nijo and San already told me pretty much everything I need to know about the dormitory. So, guess can you just take me to my room first, and we'll see if I have any questions from there?
わかった。じゃあついてきて。
Alright.
へえ、暁って書いてサトルなんだ。なんかかっこいいね。
That's cool. I kind of wish I could see that. Maybe there'll be a point where they'll show it on the screen, but that'd be kind of neat to see. I don't know much kanji at all, but it'd be neat to see. Like, I think it's kind of cool how it's not just like the pictogram of the word, but it's also like the way you draw it. It says a lot about like what the name was supposed to mean for them. But I think we're going to go ahead and end here for today. So we had some pretty interesting interactions, to say the least. But I'm looking forward to seeing more from the people here. And I'm not sure who the possible routes really are. We could get a glimpse of things in the intro video and all that, but I don't know. There's like so much we can glean from that. We'll have to see. Oh gosh, what was her name? I can't remember. Black-haired girl. She looked interesting, but she also just might be like a passive, like, prefect, kind of like, no running in the halls kind of character. But, I mean, she seems nice. We already know, so Doctor Girl and Sister are probably dateable routes based on the fact that we had that choice. But, you know, again, that might be me just overthinking and analyzing the choice system in this game. It all depends. The games are all different. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much to the patrons who are directly supporting the channel. You guys are amazing, believing in my dream and helping to try and make it a reality. I thank you for everything you've been giving me, and I appreciate every little bit that counts. It means the world to me. And also thank you to all the little bit of time that anyone who's watching this, listening to this, commenting on this, everything you do in that regard means the world to me as well. It's like every bit is so important in this landscape of YouTube with so many different channels out there. Like, I'm hoping that the content I make is something that's unique enough and interesting enough for you to keep you around and keep you coming back for more. We've got great content coming out pretty much every day of the week during the weekdays. And, you know, as I get back into the swing of things after I figure out the crisis at home, I hope to be able to continue to provide content for you on a much more regular basis as I have been in the past and continue to do so for the foreseeable future. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me, and until next video watching me, I hope to see me in next. I'll see you there.